Recording. All right. So on 3D cut, so right now what I really kind of have in here that's going to show up on my 3D cut is going to be my terrain and my my 3D, my model of my drainage. Sorry, words were tough there. So I got to, what I want to do is down in my profile window. So I've got my profile, everything in there. So I have my 3D cut buttons, which are next to my annotation button down in the window here. So I'm going to pick 3D cut, and then it's going to say, okay, by corners or full profile. I always do by corners because if you do full profile, depending on what you have in your file, and there's 3D elements, and those 3D elements can be anything as far as a 3D solid that's drawn in MicroStation or drainage and utilities or any other 3D element that has that information with it. So I will go ahead and do by corners. So I'm just going to pick like the top corner. I'm going to drag it across and I'm going to drop it on the other corner. And it should, why is it not showing my 3D cut? Let me try that again. Oh, I think I know what I did. All right, I'm going to do a 3D cut again. Am I missing something here?
The extent of your view. Look at your view, how much the vertical extent.
Jeremy, would you do me a favor? Down in the lower left where it says multi-model views, will you take a look at which models you have? Okay. So you do have
it's not turned
that's
on.
what it is.
That's a good one. Yep. So yeah, so in the base model, right, as you guys can see, I have everything on in here. In 3D view, if I go into here, I do not have everything turned on. So I need to make sure that my 3D model of my drainage, it's not the right one. Oh, I put it in my working folder for now. I believe that's where I put it. Oh, that's not a good thing. Let me find, why is that in there? Probably just need to reference that into this guy. It's funny that that did not come across. I'll reference my working container. All right, now we're in good shape. So now when I come back to my model views, I will gonna actually, so I don't know if I'm in, so I'm in here. So what this does too is it's telling me that, okay, I can refresh it. You can also see a nested level of 99 That's the default that it always puts in. This is also a cached reference, meaning that it's more of a photo reference. But this is also where I can control if I have locks and snaps where I can snap to my 3D cut, because this is automatically turned off by default. So I can't snap to it, as you can see. But as soon as I turn that on, then I have that capability to go ahead and do that. But it does say I can refresh. I don't recommend that, just because when you go to refresh that, it may work while you're in the file a couple of times, but as soon as you get out of the file and back, it's not going to be, that option won't be there for you to refresh it. So I go ahead and just detach this rather than even just deleting the 3D cut. And then I will run a new 3D cut across, and it better show my drainage. So here are my drainage points. So these would be my cross culvert. So I think, Emmanuel, back to your question, this is going to tell you where I'm crossing at, knowing that I have to be across those points. Again, any 3D element, 3D solids will also, they're all going to show up in here. So whatever you have in here will show up. One of the things that will also show up is another line for your surface will also be on top of here. You can also manipulate levels. I am right. So I'm in my profile. So I have my levels that I can turn on and off. So I want that. I don't want my, I do want my existing. That's my profile, sorry. My container file. I thought I could change this on 3D cut. Can I not? That's right. Can turn those off. There we go. One thing I can do is I can come here, hide cached element. So that's what it was, is getting rid of it that way. I can turn things on and off that direction. So I think, anything to add, Jordan, Lindsay?
One thing that I would keep in mind here is when you're using these 3D cuts, whatever is shown in your 3D model space is what's going to show up here. So if you want to, for example, let's say that you actually don't want your drainage elements to show up when you do the 3D cut. You've got utilities or something that you want to look into. In this 3D model space, you can turn off those hydraulic elements before you do your 3D cut, and then those will not show up when you do that 3D cut.
And I would do that by level control.
Yep.
And hopefully everyone saw that too, that when I did do my 3D cut, that's why they didn't show up, because they weren't even in my 3D model. So that's one good thing to always check. Anything else?
Nope.
Okay. All right, let's stop recording, Sahar.